Hello! Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Fabled Narrative, and let's get right into this. The Hollywood Reporter, Avatar: The Last Airbender, creators exit Netflix adaptation. Now, I was a fan, or I was ecstatic. I think that's a better word. I was ecstatic for the Netflix adaptation of actually making a live action The Last Airbender. I was loving it. I was looking forward to it for 12 to 8 months. And then recently, within the last week, I realized that I found an article that said that the original creators, not with Aaron, the head writer of The Last Airbender, were going to change fundamentally the entire show by retconning some of the events and adding a few characters that didn't need to be there, but adding it just because current modern day sensibilities. Those are a few things that I disagree with when it comes to changing the original content. It's like the Lion King Disney live action CGI remake or adaptation and Dumbo. They were based off the original cartoon, but they changed a few things and added characters, and it just took away the flavor of what Dumbo was, of what the Lion King was. It's a lot of energy and a lot of money went into it, but it fundamentally changed what Dumbo was. It's just like I'd rather watch the original. If you want to call it, I'm an originalist or something. I just care about good content. Like the Avatar: The Last Airbender is a movie that you can watch with your children, and when you grow up, your children can watch it with their children. And Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'd say even Samurai Jack. It may not be family friendly, but it definitely pertained to me when I was younger watching Samurai Jack, Kung Fu Panda, and even Shrek 1 and Shrek 2. I think those movies are just even the Harry Potter series for all 8 movies are, even though it's riddled with flaws, it's still a movie series that you can watch it with your children, and then your children, when they grow up, can watch it with their children because it tells a complete story from start to finish. It's great in many areas. There may be some flaws. Even The Last Airbender has some flaws here and there, but even then, it's still fundamental. It's foundational. It's built on good, solid storytelling. It's so amazing. One great example is when Zuko's character development happens throughout the entire season 1 and season 2, but he doesn't change until season 3. That's phenomenal. He goes through the struggles between specifically in the second one, but he has such a revelation in the third one. And you get to see that that evolution that took 3 seasons to develop. Where in Avatar: The Legend of Korra, each season was from start to finish a complete 3-season series. They just jam packed it, and that was also because of each season being that Nickelodeon gave them the license to do a season at a time. And that's one reason why, we need to have a start to finish rather than having a start and leaving it open for either the fans or for them to create a second season. So they sort of backed themselves in a corner each time they made a season. And then on season 3 and 4, they kind of had a little bit more wiggle room. It was better. So I was looking forward to the live action, but realized that there was going to be some woke crap and they were going to change the original content. I'm just not a fan of that. I'm just not. One great example is that did it better is Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack had seasons 1 through 5 about 10 years ago. I grew up with Samurai Jack. And then they released the final season a decade later. And there's the animation's on point. It's the same. A little bit better. Animation, I don't give it any credence to the actual enjoyment of the show. The plot may be a little questionable, but they did Jack right. They did him whole. Oh, so good. It was so worth waiting a whole decade for a 6th season because they did the characters right. I think that the end of season 5, it was a legitimate cliffhanger. It's just he's off doing other things. He's off continuing to fight. There was no ending. And then a decade later, season 6, without giving any details, I highly recommend going watching all of seasons 1 through 5. Take your time. You don't have to jam pack it. Like what I did with Game of Thrones, I didn't know why people liked Game of Thrones, so I watched the first episode, and I didn't get it. I didn't care for it. 6 months later, somebody explained to me. I think it was my brother explained to me that the reason that when the boy found Jaime Lannister and Cersei in the tower, why that was such a big deal is that they were brother and sister, and I didn't get that the first time I watched it. I was like, "What's going on here?" And then when somebody explained that, I was like, "Oh, that makes so much more sense." So when I watched the first episode and I had the context, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is interesting." So I watched all the first 7 seasons in about 3 to 4 days, probably 5 days. I didn't sleep, I didn't eat, I didn't go to the bathroom. Now I did, but I was like, okay, I'm going to be listening to it while I'm going to the bathroom. I just want to know what's happening. But I just jam-packed it. And guess what? I forgot a lot of the material because I didn't have my mind allowed to emotionally or to allow it to sit and actually understand what was happening. So again, I highly recommend just take your time. Take your time on series. Take your time on an episode. 1 episode a day is all you need. Okay, let's move on to this article. Because I don't know if you could tell, but I'm not really a fan of The Legend of Korra. I think it would be better suited to call The Legend of Korra official, because we're going to be getting into another article. I don't know if I'm just going to be going with this article and then going to the second one right after this one. But, I might have a phone call. Let me pause this real quick. Okay, I did have a phone call. I'm going to go travel and see my sister and my nephew and brother-in-law this weekend for a few days. So there was just miscommunication on both sides with somebody with whom I'm supposed to communicate with and the person with whom I'm traveling with. It was just a whole ordeal. It's silliness. But I'm going to probably be going into this article either in this video or into next video. But I'm not really a fan of The Legend of Korra. Like I said, I think it would be better suited to call it official fan art or official fan. What do you call it? Man, I'm blanking on the word. I'm going to call it fan art. Man, I am so blanking. I just got interrupted. I apologize. But official fan fiction, that was the word. A fan fiction that was created by the original creators, because it retcons a lot of the things of the first series, and that's one of the reasons why I say it's a great series only if it was considered to be official fan fiction. Now, I enjoy some fan fiction. I actually watch or read some fan fictions. There's actually a few mangas that I read. There's a few stories that I read. There's a few videos that I read that are fan fiction, but they're kind of interesting. It's like, oh, wow, I actually like or prefer this story versus the original one. Like, anybody who out there, I highly recommend going on YouTube and searching Sword Art Online Unabridged. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. If you've seen the original Sword Art Online, they make an abridged version with new personalities, and that's all you need to know. Everyone has a new personality that would be better suited for that situation, and it's phenomenal. Kirito is an absolute dick sociopath, and it's delightful to watch. It's hilarious. I actually prefer it to the original. I respect the original because it came first, but it's its own fan fiction, and it retcons a lot of the events. But I still enjoy it. I still love it. It's fantastic. But I may get into this entire thing into another video, but I just wanted to do an honorable mention that Legend of Korra I enjoy. I just don't think it should actually be canon, and it should be more suited for official fan fiction by the actual creators. I'm a fan of that. I would love, like, Legend of Korra being a fan fiction to extend upon its own universe, but it does not share the same universe. I have a lot of arguments against that I'm going to be going through the entire series of all 4 seasons of the entire series of Legend of Korra, episode by episode, and explaining why I agree with this or that. So that'll be my project for the next few months. Oh, man. But this article with Avatar: The Last Airbender creators exit Netflix adaptation. Oh man, I'm happy about this. I was so looking forward to this, but I'm grateful that the creators are not going to be retconning and making woke the original series and trying to be like, hey guys, with new sensibilities, here's a new thing, rather than saying, hey guys, enjoy the old thing, because the old thing was amazing, now let's create something based off of that, not try to change it. That's a common thing that's happening. And this photo is just permeated throughout any and all articles with Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's such an overused wallpaper. And one thing that I'll even give this article is that they only use this one wallpaper for their entire article, while CBR or even Screen Rant uses just wallpaper after wallpaper after wallpaper to keep extending. It's, man, it's use a smaller wallpaper or a little picture, and then, but the primary thing should be your written words, not just, oh hey, here's Avatar stuff. Oh my gosh, Avatar stuff. Jingle the keys. Oh look, there's stuff I enjoy about it because it's Avatar. That's the way I think about it. Okay, Michael and Brian say they departed the live-action series over creative differences. Now, I would love to know what the creative differences were, but I believe that it was Michael that created, or Brian. I apologize. Let me actually find that information out. Yeah, okay, it was Michael. Turf Wars is a graphic trilogy set in the Avatar universe following the events of Book 4 of the television series of The Legend of Korra. The first graphic trilogy to be based on the second series is written by co-creator Michael Dante DiMartino, and with the line art and so on and so forth. But, the series' other co-creator Brian acts as a consultant for the novels. Interesting. Michael created the books primarily, and one of the things is that the books are actually utter garbage, horse shit manure. They're just bad. They're really bad. A great example is that Korra, while bringing her new relationship, her new love, Asami, to dinner to her parents' home, her father says to her, being open, loving, and appreciative that her daughter is happy, regardless of whether or not you're in a gay or straight relationship. You're happy, fantastic. He says to his daughter, hey, I just want to make certain that if you go out there, make certain to maybe keep it on the down low, because there are people out there that are just not maybe open or even would accept this type of behavior. And Korra just calls him a bigot, and I don't know if those are the words she uses, but it's like, oh my gosh, Dad, you're so bigoted and homophobic, and then leaves with Asami, and then apologizes to Asami when they're leaving, after they've left, saying, I'm sorry for the behavior of my parents. It's like, what? Oh my gosh, Korra, you're just an insufferable cunt. Oh, that's just one scene. That's just one scene. Oh my gosh, that's just one moment. I highly recommend going and reading the entire thing for yourself. Yeah, but good luck. Oh man, but if Michael created it and Brian was the advisor to that, it may have been of whether or not of how woke they actually wanted to make the new show with the live action adaptation. I would love to see what their arguments were. I'm looking forward to that, because that'd be kind of interesting to see behind the scenes. The creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender have departed a live action Netflix show based on their animated series. Michael and Brian said in separate statements Wednesday that they came to believe their creative vision for the show wasn't being supported by each other or by the fans, or even the CEOs, which, they were actually pushing, I think, for that. The show, which Netflix ordered in 2018, is still in development at the streamer. Uh-oh. No, please don't be developing. No! When Brian and I signed on to the project in 2018, we were hired as executive producers and showrunners. Michael DiMartino? Was it Michael DiMartino? No, Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. I'm going to call it Konietzko. That's how I'm going to pronounce his last name. Brian signed into the practice with showrunners. DiMartino, Michael, wrote on his website, in a joint announcement for the series, Netflix said that it was committed to honoring our vision for this retelling, which I hate. Why do you need to retell the story? And to supporting us on creating the series. And we expressed how excited we were for the opportunity to be at the helm. Unfortunately, things did not go as we had hoped. Yay! Not that I want y'all to be unsuccessful, I'm just grateful that y'all didn't fuck over the original series. That's just what I'm grateful for. I mean, you can create your own fan fiction, but it's not Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender fan fiction. So, in his own statement on Instagram, Brian oh wait, they actually mispronounced it. Yeah, they typed his name wrong. Oh my gosh, Koniet. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. They keep fucking it over. Okay, so Brian wrote that there was no follow through on Netflix's pledge to support the creator's vision for the live action show. Thank you, Netflix. I'm actually going to start paying for you. I haven't used Netflix in about a year. Probably going to start I'm definitely going to do it for Avatar Korra. But if like, hey, you know what, Netflix? I applaud you. The general handling of the project created what I felt was a negative and non-supportive environment. What do you mean? If you're gonna make a bunch of money, make a bunch of money off of them and then move on. Why do you have to be such a bitch? He said, adding, "To be clear, this was not a simple matter of us not getting our way. Well, it seems like it, because y'all are famous for one particular thing. Mike and I are collaborative people. We did not need all the ideas to come from us. Actually, you don't have to have any of the ideas. All you have to do is just make a live-action version of the original source material. That's all you had to do. And you not getting your way actually seems like it. We want to create something new, but if we don't get our way doing the new thing from the people that we are demanding it from, therefore it's their fault. It's a wrong environment for us to create. It's like, oh my gosh. As long as we felt those ideas were in line with the spirit and integrity of Avatar, we would have happily embraced them. However, we ultimately came to the belief that we would not be able to meaningfully guide the direction of the series. There's no need to meaningfully guide the direction of the series because you already have the series created. Follow the scene-by-scene situation. All you have to do is get a bunch of people, even if it was CGI oriented, get a bunch of people who look like the original characters, have them act, dub their voiceover, and there you go. You have probably another $40 million headed your way by just doing that activity. You have everything. All you have to do is make a carbon copy, literally a carbon copy. Not of like the Avatar: The Last Airbender, trying to make a carbon copy just like let me explain what I mean. Avatar Korra tried to do a lot of carbon copy situations like the Avatar Gang, and each of the characters were sort of their own caricature of the original, sort of. They were too stereotypical. Family Guy did the exact same thing with The Simpsons and pretty much did a carbon copy. The moment that they started, within a season or two, started to have their own voice, started to have their own humor, started to have their own universe, that's when Family Guy actually started to stand out and was funny, and I could still enjoy The Simpsons about a decade ago. But once Family Guy found its own voice, it was amazing. But if you're going to make a literal remake the thing, but instead just change the graphics, or even change some of the details. Literally non-consequential details in the background. For example, if there were only four people on screen, maybe you could add 15. But again, the 15 doesn't change fundamentally of what happens. It's just, oh, here's a reimagination of the original by still honoring everything that happened. So, yeah, it's the same way if you were to play a video game and they don't give you any choices, like in The Last of Us 2, they don't give you any choices, and the whole thing is designed to make you feel like shit going through this horror porn. It's like this is a gore porn, it's torture porn, it's just giving you like, hey guys, we're just feeling like shit. Oh man, someone died that we loved. Oh, was there anything that we could have done to change it? Nope. Oh, okay. Okay, that's like, oh, moving on. It's like I don't care anymore. But in Titanfall 2, I'll defend it. Titanfall 2, they do the exact same thing. There's a linear storyline that you go through, but one thing that they add that actually changes the gameplay just a bit, that even just is dynamically better than The Last of Us 2, is that they give you dialogue cues between you and your Titan, BT-7274, to have a conversation. What you select of like, hey, I'm so glad that you survived, or phew, that was close, we almost died. You get to choose between the two, and then BT-7274 will reply in a different way. It gives you a little bit of a choice among a very linear storyline. It gives you a sense of changing how the context of a situation. It wasn't much, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. So yeah, you don't need to change the original series, man. Sources tell the Hollywood Reporter that, and again, thank you, Hollywood Reporter, for creating this, and more importantly, I give you props, Hollywood Reporter, for not jamming your entire article with just wallpaper, unlike Screen Rant and CBR. So I give you props for that. That their sources tell that the Hollywood Reporter that there were creative differences between Michael and Brian, Netflix, and other creatives throughout the development process over how to adapt the animated series to live action. Okay, don't. Okay. What is the one thing that all of y'all can agree upon? If one of y'all wants to make it woke and one of y'all wants to make it original, meet in the middle and do it that way. I'm not a fan of that, but if y'all want to actually get something out there, that's what you do. Okay, fine. Let's meet halfway. What are the things that we agree upon? What are the things that we disagree with? And then let's put in order the things that we want on the show, we would prefer on the show, and the things that we need on the show. And then we'll have a discussion based off of those lists. Okay, that's just... I don't understand these two guys. Those differences ultimately led to the creator's departure. Yay! Y'all created a phenomenal series, and I'm very grateful for that. But again, the Avatar, The Legend of Korra, is a testament to what y'all might be doing to the original series, which is retcon the universe. So, we have a complete respect and admiration for Michael and Brian and the story that they created in the Avatar animated series, said a Netflix spokesperson. Although they have chosen to depart the live-action project, we are confident in the creative team and their adaptation. So the creators, Michael and Brian are saying that Netflix is not supporting their creative vision, the environment is not their liking to, while Netflix is saying it is a supportive environment, we want them to be creating it. So it's like they want to create, Michael and Brian want to, it seems as though, that Michael and Brian want to retcon the situation, want to retcon and add a whole bunch of woke crap into the original series, while Netflix wants to say, it's like, hey, we just need money, that's what we need. You don't have to go that far. I mean, go woke, go broke hasn't been a thing, and people actually want to pay for stuff, and we want people to want this thing. If we're going to be pouring a lot of money, we need to keep it as much to the original content as possible. But let's even switch the fact. Actually, I can't switch the fact because Michael and Brian has come out with saying that they are going to make it woke. They're going to retcon they were wanting to retcon it. So I think Netflix was on that regard. That is speculation. That is not fact. But based off the evidence that I have, that's what I'm perceiving right now. Although they have chosen to depart the live-action project, we are confident in the creative team and their adaptation, which goes contrary to what Michael and Brian said about what Netflix about Netflix not being in supportive of like having this supportive environment. So I think Michael and Brian are actually bitch boys. I think that's what's happening. Okay. Netflix is producing the live-action Last Airbender series in partnership with Nickelodeon, which aired the animated original from 2005 to 2008. Michael and Brian are also created sequel series The Legend of Korra, which ran from 2012 to 2014. So it seems to be the end of the article. Harriet the Spy animated goes to okay, I don't care. Okay, I guess that's it. I wish that there was going to be more to this. But for the article itself, of just saying that they might have just temporarily split. For speculation, they may be coming back because, hey, Michael and Brian, they just get over their temper tantrum and just create it. I'm not looking forward to Michael and Brian's adaptation to the original series. It's one of those things of like we get to see an animated 2D version put into the 3D. I want to see that. I don't want to see a new universe based off the original universe. Like a new I don't want a new universe, I want the original. Every character, I mean, with its flaws and all. I don't want to change the past because you have current modern day sensibility issues with what you created. If you don't like it, move on to a new animation. Move on to a new series. That's one big issue that I have is, I don't like it now, therefore let's just destroy it and burn it. That's what Dungeons & Dragons is doing essentially to every single edition that they have made in their past. because of the current modern day sensibilities of, oh my gosh, orcs are people too. One, they're a different species; they're not really human. And if they were people, they would have this individuality, and the individuality can be messed up because you have orc blood, literally a different species, like having dragon blood. Dragon blood can make you a bit more hostile. Dragon blood can make you a bit more magical. Dragon blood is very interesting. It could kill you. But again, with it's that Dungeons and Dragons is purging their old material and just retconning and literally rewriting every single book that they have had, and it will not be official for them. It's like, well, wait a second. Like, what do you mean? Why not just create a 7th edition that has new rules that people can choose to opt in on? And if people choose not to, well, guess what? You haven't fucked over your history, your past, of what people have enjoyed, and even more important, the money you made from whatever you created, and saying what you created was wrong. Well, okay, if it's wrong, give back all the money you made from the things that were wrong. But you won't do that, Dungeons and Dragons. You won't do that because you actually like and prefer to have money. So whatever makes money, and now you're choosing to do Dungeons and Dragons without making money. It's Dungeons and Dragons, I think, is going to be going downhill because of just that. I think they're going to get a 20% cut. Now, I would say that without having the beer bug all around, but I think with just that one notion, I think it's just with sales, I think they're going to be going down. But that's more speculation, and I might be incredibly wrong on that. So let's wait for the facts to come out, let's wait for the evidence, and then we can actually make a better judgment. Thank you very much for being a part of this. My name is Fabled Narrative. Please post your comments, questions, and concerns right down below. Please smash that like and subscribe button, because that would greatly help this channel out. And most importantly, go out and do wonders. Thank you very much for being a part of this, and I'll see you next time.